Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about something that's so common we often don't even notice it, the humble 1-cent coin. It's probably been jingling around in your pocket right now, or maybe it's just collecting dust at the bottom of your drawer. But believe it or not, the penny has a fascinating history, significant value, and some pretty surprising stories about rare finds. In this video, we'll dive deep into the story of the 1-cent coin, explore its history, and maybe even uncover some secrets about its true worth. Let's start with the basics, the 1-cent coin. Or as we all know it, the penny. But where did this tiny coin come from? And why has it stuck around for so long? Well, its journey began more than 2 centuries ago. Enter the chain cent. The very first 1-cent coin was struck in 1793. It was made of copper and featured a design with a chain of 15 links, symbolizing the 13 original colonies plus 2 new states. This coin was the very first step toward creating a stable currency system in the new nation. The Indian head cent was a striking design, featuring a Native American headdress on the obverse and a simple, elegant reverse. It was a favorite for collectors, and it stayed in circulation for over 50 years. Then, in 1909, one of the most famous pennies ever made was introduced, the Lincon wheat penny. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin featured a portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, with 2 stalks of wheat on the reverse side, symbolizing the nation's agrarian roots. The wheat penny was beloved by Americans and became an enduring symbol of strength during both World Wars and the Great Depression. In 1959, the design was updated to honor Lincoln's 150th birthday with the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse side. This coin became a symbol of Lincoln's legacy, and it stayed in circulation until 2008, when the U.S. Mint introduced a series of designs to celebrate Lincoln's life. Today, the 1-cent coin still carries Lincoln's likeness, but in 2010, the reverse design changed to the shield penny, symbolizing the protection and unity of the nation. Now, let's talk about the 1-cent coin's role in today's economy. As inflation has increased, the value of the penny has decreased. For example, back in 1913, a penny could buy you a loaf of bread. Today, however, you need several pennies just to buy a single piece of candy. At the current rate of inflation, it's clear that the penny's value has dramatically diminished. But the real problem lies in the cost of production. It costs the U.S. Mint about 2.1 cents to make a single penny, which means it's actually losing money to produce them. Despite the penny's diminishing purchasing power and increasing production costs, the U.S. Mint continues to mint billions of pennies each year. Why? Well, pennies are still used for small transactions, and many people hold on to them, even if they're not always spent. In fact, some countries like Canada and New Zealand have already phased out their 1-cent coins due to their limited usefulness. But here in the U.S., the penny remains in circulation, much to the debate of economists and policymakers. Here's the fun part. While most pennies are worth just 1 cent, some rare pennies can fetch a small fortune. Take the 1943 steel penny, for example. During World War II, the U.S. Mint switched to using steel for pennies to conserve copper for the war effort. These steel pennies are relatively rare and can be worth thousands of dollars depending on their condition. And then there's the legendary 1909 SVDB penny. This coin, minted in very limited quantities, features the initials of its designer, Victor David Brenner, on the reverse. If you're lucky enough to find one in excellent condition, it could be worth over $1,000. So, while most pennies are worth just 1 cent, rare editions can bring in some serious money for collectors. If you happen to find a 1943 steel penny or a 1909 SVDB penny, you might just be holding a small fortune in your hand. As we move into a digital age with more cashless transactions, the question arises, should the U.S. continue to mint the 1-cent coin? Other countries, like Canada, have already stopped producing their own pennies. Could the U.S. follow suit? Some people argue that the penny is outdated and unnecessary, while others believe it's an important part of American culture and that it still serves a purpose in small transactions. But the cost of production and the fact that many people simply toss pennies aside has led to calls for its elimination. In a world where more people are using smartphones and credit cards to make purchases, it's becoming increasingly hard to justify the production of a coin worth so little. Some experts suggest that it might be time to retire the penny, but for now, it remains a fixture of American currency.